Hey, Cam!
Hey, Gio!
Guess what?
What?
We're doing a podcast!
We are doing a podcast, an unofficial Disney podcast.
Yes! Ooh, I love Disney!
And do you know what makes us different from other podcasts?
Yes, we're not two white women drinking wine and talking about true crime.
Well, yeah, but besides that, we're reviewing Disney animated classics without any accreditation.
Oh, yeah, that too. That's right. We're not film critics or mental health professionals.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, but we are adults with opinions about the films that shaped our childhood.
This pod is perfect for Disney lovers from moderate to extreme.
And it's designed for the Disney adult in mind. So take your multivitamin or your Boniva and prepare your cocktail, because Cam and I are ready to walk down memory lane.
And answer the tough questions like, how did Ariel decide which sea creatures are her friends and which ones are underwear?
Oh wait, where does Tarzan get his body wax?
Right!
Mm-hmm. We're gonna answer all them questions. So tune into Your Bare Necessities, the unofficial, much-needed Disney podcast.
Available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast. Forget about your worries and your strife. You got the...
You don't have to sing Fade It Out. You can just sing and I could fade you. It's an audio medium.
And welcome to
White Gaze,
where we whites gaze upon the drama,
the looks,
and the language of our newest favorite Chinese television show, Empresses in the Palace, otherwise known as
Zhenhuan Zhuan.
And today we are going to be reviewing episode 14.
This one was kind of spicy.
There was a lot of spiciness, and I am very excited to get into it. Before we dive right in, we need to get into what happened last week.
Last week, we were at Cao Guiren's daughter's first birthday party.
Yes.
And Zhenhuan had to perform what's the name of the dance?
The Startled Swan.
The Startled Swan. She had to perform the dance of the Startled Swan. We had the All-Star 7 variety show because all the girls joined in with her. And then at the end, we see Hua Fei is like coughing and the Empress is saying, "Why are you causing a scene? We're trying to have a good day here. We're having a joyous day. Why are you causing a scene?"
And that's exactly where we pick back up. And I think the Empress actually repeats the line.
I don't know if she repeats the line, but it's like we see that. They show that again.
Yeah. And so then Hua Fei gets up and she says, "I'm just so sorry, but I'm overcome emotionally from the dance that I just witnessed. It's blown me away."
And
Same.
the Emperor is like, "But you weren't even in our family then, so you don't know anything about this dance. So
Right,
why are you so upset
crying?
about it? Why do
Stop
you have
crying."
so many emotions about it?" And they said the same thing to Cao Guiren as well, because she
Right.
was like, "Oh, she cannot compare," and they were like, "You don't even know what the original one looks like." So because they don't have YouTube.
No, there was no recording.
You can't type in startled swan tutorial. Yeah.
And so basically what she says is, well, the reason I'm really upset about this is because it reminds me of a poem. And she puts on the waterworks. She starts to like fake cry as she recites this poem.
I know. I don't think she's fake crying. I think she is very, like, truly, really upset. But
Girl, no. They're rolling their eyes. They're like, oh, here she go.
But she is being overdramatic, and they're not buying it.
They're not, because they're like, I never knew you could read.
And
Who taught you phonics?
the Emperor said that. He was like, "You're not into poetry."
And he's like, and she's like, well, you've been ignoring me for so long, I have to do something. If I'm not getting my back blown out, I might as well read some books.
Yeah, so she recites the poem.
Yes. And it is throwing some very, I think, obvious shade towards Zhenhuan, because historically, the person who wrote this poem was the concubine who was cast away for the concubine who did the dance.
And we got some new intel from our new informant, Miss Plum Blossom Darling.
Talented, brilliant, incredible.
And she tells us, or she shows us the parallels between our girls and the girls in the poem. Mm-hmm. So Hua Fei is supposed to be Mei Fei, and she's the good one. And Zhenhuan is supposed to be
Yang Guifei.
And she's the villain in the poem.
Yes. And so it's very much, I think, obvious to everybody. But I do think that as she's explaining this, Hua Fei, she does say, I know that I have no virtue or talent as a woman.
臣妾自知无德无才，若不修身养性，实在无颜面再侍奉皇上。
But these are my feelings.
The lack of talent is the virtue of a woman.
I say it, what I say it.
And she doesn't even have that. Wait, what?
That's what they said like in like the first few episodes.
I know, but okay, if the
talent.
lack of talent is a virtue, then how does she say she lacks talent and virtue?
I don't know. She's not the one that said it. Who was the one that said it? The Empress Dowager was the one that said it. Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows.
They even said it in the last episode.
They did.
One of the princes.
The brother, I think the 10th prince. Although this obvious ploy for attention is very tacky to most of the girls, it does work. And the emperor finally does say,
"No, I'll come see you.
I'll come see you if I got some time." And Hua Fei is back to business.
Then we see them leaving the birthday party. The girls are walking down the steps, and Zhenhuan is like, "So, I saw you take the slip out of your hand. That was planned this whole time, wasn't it?"
I'm on to you, ho.
And Tao Guiwen's like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
And Zhenhuan goes even further. She was like, and it's just such a coincidence that we wouldn't have triggered Hua Fei to bring up that poem if not for the dance. So, you're smarter than you look.
But I feel like it ended up helping out Zhenhuan more as well.
I think it definitely helped all the girls, but I think Cao Guiren is a little shook that Zhenhuan is onto her like that.
Yeah, she's like kind of getting used, and
yeah,
I feel like she's just
big time. But I do think that this scene is very fierce because the girls are smiling and they're walking just very calmly as they're basically calling each other cunts. I want to be as talented as they are to talk to my enemies in this way.
Right.
Meanwhile, I just yell at my enemies for their bad service to the community.
Last night we were at and they were poisoning us, and that little bartender is not nice.
And the man at the door, he can go kick rocks.
I say it, what I think.
Yeah, he needs to get his shit together.
So in the next scene, Shen Meizhuang is pissed off. She shoves her cup onto the table and is shouting about how they did all of the work. They put Xiao Yunzi up in drags to make sure that Hua Fei was in her place, just to see Hua Fei come back again.
Oh, I was trying to say that she's mad, and I think it's this baby inside her. She's getting these hormones, all sorts of flippity floppity all over.
I thought it's definitely her hormones are coming through. The baby's kicking or something. Stepping on her ovaries or stepping on a because you know babies do that.
They step on your ovaries?
They're able to like step on your organs and make you feel really bad.
That's why we need to ban babies.
This pod is officially anti-baby. No babies.
They gotta be at least 4.
Right. If we could grow them in a lab until they're 4 years old and then take them out. Zhenhuan agrees that Shen Meizhuang is probably just in her pregnant feelings because she's like, with the little person inside of you, you're gonna be fine. And so she goes to the pregnant belly and she says, tell your mom to chill out. It's gonna be okay. Zhenhuan also reminds her that I got by today with luck. I just happened to know the 8 count. I just happen to know the choreography by heart. In the future, I may not get so lucky. We gotta watch out for this Cao Wei Ren.
Well, I think that Shen Meizhuang is just like scared because Hua Fei did try to kill her.
Yes.
And I already think that they're scheming with this baby.
while they're having this conversation, Xiaoxiazi comes in to summon Zhenhuan to visit the emperor so they can go over some new poems. And she rolls up to the gig, but overhears the men inside talking about men's things.
They're talking about wars. They're talking about the Northwestern Territory. I guess that's where the war is going on.
Real boring stuff. But we do hear wind of Hua Fei.
Well, yeah, because her brother is in charge or something of the army. And so they're like, we need to keep her happy.
Mm-hmm. And so I guess the men that are inside with the emperor are saying, if you forgive Hua Fei, somehow the soldiers will find out and they'll be happier and they'll do more war for you and it will be good. And Zhenhuan hears this and she logs it in her brain.
I want to know the history of what's going on during this time because who are they beefing with? Who are they at war with?
His brothers.
They're at war with the brothers?
Yes, because when the old emperor died, all the little children were like, I'm the emperor now. And so then they were fighting with each other. And so he was able to unify most of the country, but I'm supposing the Northwestern Territories, they also want to be the emperor still.
Northwest? What is Northwest?
That's like Xinjiang area. No comment.
Next question.
And so she goes inside and the emperor has a headache. And so she goes over and starts to rub his temples, which I thought was very cute.
I thought it was very cute too, but she doesn't even take her shoes off before she gets into the bed.
They're clean.
Well, I guess it's not really a bed, but in the lounge area. Mm-hmm. But it's I know that sitting down in a little lounge like that in those shoes cannot be comfortable.
Yeah, but she also cannot be showing her slut feet all day.
Right.
And so she's rubbing his temples, trying to make him feel good, and then planting the seed. For some reason, it's Zhenhuan that says, by the way, you should forgive Hua Fei.
Why is she doing that?
Because I think maybe she knows that he has to do it. Politically, he has to do it, even though he doesn't want to. So I think she is just trying to help him.
I also think that, whenever Hua Fei has more power, that she is not as threatened.
As destructive.
And not as destructive, yeah. Mm. She doesn't feel the need to push the girls into the water.
That only comes when the girls are coming for her. All right. And so I think that she's really just trying to help the emperor do something difficult and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Which is what a great partner does.
In the next scene, we are at Hua Fei's house, and she's doing her makeup. It's funny that it says that she's doing some makeup because she's not doing it.
No,
Miao Miao is doing it.
Miao Miao is fully beating the mug.
And she has this huge peacock headpiece on.
Gigantic.
It's a really cute one.
The thing is, it blew me away in terms of craftsmanship, in terms of probably the expensiveness of it. It was a full 360 degrees sculpture on her head. But here I am thinking, you're just about to get plowed tonight. You're going to have to take that off.
I feel like they are pretty easy. They're like hats, aren't they?
No, it was woven into her hair. It's not a helmet.
You know what we should do for some exclusive content? We should try to make wigs.
We should try to... No. Beaverhausen will stop being our friend if we do that.
Why? Because they'll be so terrible?
No, because they'll be so good that we'll take all her business.
I don't know about that.
Michi, Miao Miao, and Hua Fei start talking about some boring political stuff that I don't think that our listeners care about, because I certainly don't.
I don't care about it. Something about 8, 9, 10 prince.
Politics. But Hua Fei does bring up a motif of this episode. And she says, well, how is this man helping me? He's just pushing the boat along the current.
他这哪里是帮着本宫啊，是顺水推舟。
And that will come up later.
Will it?
Yeah. Oh, will it? Just you wait and see. But then she says, Michi Miao Miao, come put me in my red dress. He loves for me to be the woman in red.
Didn't we like hate her in red last time? No,
No,
it was
we
yellow.
hated her in green.
It was
like a
yellow.
yellowy green. Yeah, it was not good.
Have we seen her in red?
We saw her in her naughty nighty.
Oh, like in like the first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then look at this last sentence from Demi. I just think it's so funny.
This means he will visit her tonight after some term of cold storage. I don't get it.
Like cold storage where you put the meat in the freezer when you don't want to eat it yet.
Oh my god.
And then we get to who I truly think is the heroine of the episode, the main character energy, the Empress. And she also has a headache. And so Jianqiu is there rubbing her temples as well, giving her like an arm, shoulder massage. And she's in her gold. And she is complaining that she is tired from smiling all the time. Her face muscles hurt.
These girls are so dramatic with their muscles hurting.
Well, you're one to talk.
Yeah, but I've been out here working my ass off, not just like walking across the palace.
You don't know her life. She has to smile in front of everybody. She says that if anybody thinks that she's complaining about being tired or some shit, that they will eat her alive.
Yeah.
So she is constantly having to put on the face of, I'm always happy, I'm never offended by what you say, and I always have this youthful energy.
I do that too.
Yeah, but you're not pushing 40.
Right.
And the Empress surely is. Now, something about this place, this time, Jianqiu gives us a little bit of culture because she says, my lady Empress, you are very right. Seeing Hua Fei's Xiao Ren De Zhi, which is her, like, smug victory face, really makes everybody annoyed. So you know that face that Hua Fei makes when she's, like, sauntering around, it's, like, kind of stank in it,
Yeah.
but it's a smile? That's her Xiao Ren De Zhi.
Xiao Ren De Zhi.
Yeah.
Hey, I got it.
But it's because they're celebrating the first birthday of Princess Wenyi. She recalls her son. What's his name? Hong Hui.
Hong Hui.
At his 1-year birthday celebration.
There was a celebration.
He must have made it to 1 year old.
Well, he died.
Bitch, she died.
Spoiler alert. It's really sad for her. She's really, really beaten up about it. Especially because she kind of realizes now that she probably will never have another child.
And they're like reminiscing about him. They're like, oh, he would definitely be taller than the third prince, and he would definitely be smarter, and he'd be cuter.
More handsome. He'd have a 12-inch dick. Everything would be working out for him.
You know what? 12 inches, that's wild, because I followed this man on Twitter, and he has this giant dick. And on one of the videos, he like shows him like measuring it, and it's like 9 inches. And I'm like, that's crazy.
Well, you know.
Huge.
That's the thing. Most people overestimate their size, especially online.
Mm-hmm. But there was proof. I saw it. I saw the measuring tape beside the penis.
No, I think that's fine. Although I do think it's tacky if we're still in the year 2022 and we are sending tape measurer pics.
That's his brand, though.
Well, great, good for him. But what I will say, for every person who does have the documentation to prove that they have a 9-inch dick, there's 99 people out there that are claiming to have a 9-inch dick that certainly do not.
Do not. Because this is not a penis that you see all the time.
Unless you follow him on Twitter.
Or you live in Prague.
And so, you know, the Empress is saying that her body as a 40-year-old woman is probably not going to get pregnant anymore.
But Jianqiu's like, you can still have another child. You could do it.
And she says, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you have to get fucked to have a child.
Yeah. And she says, and Jianqiu comes back with, well, even though the Emperor doesn't talk about it, he still respects you a lot. And the Empress begins her Oscar-winning performance. Because tearfully she says, a woman who can't have her husband's love, what's the use of having his respect?
一个女人得不到丈夫的爱，
And she goes on and she drops some tea about the relationship with her and the emperor, because we learn not only are she sister wives with her now deceased R.I.P. sister, but that she was married to the emperor first. But because she is the daughter of a concubine and not the daughter of an official wife like her sister immediately became the official wife as well.
Mm-hmm.
After
And favored.
And although she was on the cusp of being number one because she had the first prince, all of her hopes were dashed when he died.
And then the thunder starts to roar, and then the tears start a-flowing. Whenever the day that the baby died, it was raining just like this. And you see, poor girl.
But get your flowers.
Right?
But I do want to say, I want to shout out to Ada Choi, the actress who plays her. Get your flowers. I hope you won an award for this.
Actually, a friend sent me a WeChat article about Chen Huanchuan, and there was this little little meme of her, and I didn't realize who it was. I was like, who is this girl? I know her. It was the Empress in that little gif. She's beautiful.
So this is now an Ada Choi fan podcast. And so why don't we take a break and we can write love letters to her.
Let's do it. Hey girl, I am at Alimentari right now and the wait is way too long.
You're kidding me. How long are they saying?
They're saying an hour and a half.
Oh, wow. That is a certainly long amount of time. But no worries. Guess what?
What?
I have learned to live and dine like an Italian from the comfort of my own home.
How did you do that?
With the Alimentari Home Cookbook. I'm able to recreate my Alimentari favorites from cover to cover. The book is filled with recipes from risotto al marinara to lombata d'agnello, not to mention the crowd favorite, crostata al limon.
Oh, I love that one.
Exactly. You can pick up this cookbook if you want from any of the Alimentari locations on Anfu-Lu, on Wuding-Lu, on Donghu-Lu, on Kangding-Lu, or from Bar Centrale on Yangping-Lu.
Lovely. Do they tell you how to make a pizza?
Oh, girl, do they tell you how to make a pizza? They tell you how to make a ravioli, spinaci e ricotta. They tell you how to make pizza. They tell you exactly how to cut the little cheeses to look beautiful on the board.
Lovely. I'll grab a bottle of Aperol and I'm on my way.
See you tonight.
We are back, and Shen Mei Zhuang is getting her wrist touched.
Yes, we are inquiring about the baby through the deep inspection of the pulse. And she's asking her doctor that her pregnancy symptoms have actually changed. She's like, I don't get my morning sickness anymore. I don't feel sick or hungry. I just feel aching and cold.
What do you think they gave her?
I don't know, but honestly, okay, before we came into this episode, I was thinking, I was like, the doctor is not going to be fucking with her baby, because if she loses the baby, they're going to look to the doctor and he's going to get his head chopped off.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, the doctor cannot be fucking with her. But then in this scene, I think they're fucking with her.
They're fucking with her.
Because he starts to lie and say, oh no, at this part in your pregnancy, you're not going to feel nauseous because you're a healthy girl. Your pregnancy is going to be fine and easy.
And I think it's a boy.
And I think it's going to be a boy because you've been taking daddy's cummies, okay? It'll be a boy. And she's very grateful. She clearly does not see the signs on the wall like we do. And so she's like, here, take this shanja and take all these other gifts, because she's from the area of China where they do the shanja.
Is that what I had? Is that what you made me? Not made me, but gave me?
No. Shanja is the thing that Davide loves. It's those like fruity little dried
Yeah,
things.
little dried fruit.
They taste amazing.
I love
like
those
them.
things, yeah.
Yeah. And the doctor says, wow, I recognize this from the cheese snack house. Can't believe you bought those for me.
And Shin is like, well, that place isn't open anymore. And you should know that.
And so the doctor has an awkward expression. And he sort of covers by saying, oh, sorry, I just always think of the Chi snack house when I'm missing home, and I'm missing home a lot today. I'm sorry that I misspoke. And she clearly doesn't care. She dismisses him. But he and her maid exchange guilty looks.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why is the maid involved?
I guess I don't really know much about her maid, but like, yeah, I don't know why she's involved.
This was the maid that was there, like, beating herself up when she fell into the water.
Yeah.
And now she's potentially fucking with her baby?
I don't know. Maybe she got offered something.
Ugh, we're gonna have to see how this turns out, but I'm scared.
Next, we cut to Lingrong, and she is sewing a bib for Shin Mei-zhuang's baby.
She is doing the traditional, like, hand embroidery.
It's an auspicious dragon motif.
Yes, because he's the dragon child.
What does that mean?
The son of the emperor.
Oh, dragon child.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she's making this really fierce bib for the little baby, and her eyes are hurting, and her maid's like, girl, go to bed. You've got 8 more months to make this.
And she's like, babies grow fast, and like if she likes this one, I'm gonna need to make more.
Right, and I have to make all the different sizes.
I have to fill in all these orders.
Mm-hmm. We're seeing that she is still very timid, but she is like trying to do more for the girls, right? And she is lamenting about the fact that the emperor probably has forgotten her ever since her really embarrassing first night in the blanket burrito.
Oh, yeah, and her fucking maid comes for her.
Right. So her maid Bao Zhuan does apologize, and Lingrong is very forgiving because she's like, you know, I can't blame you for what you said, you're kind of right. And she looks at her embroidery, and she says, if it isn't time for the dragon to fly yet, it should quietly stay where it is.
不到这条龙飞的时候，它乖乖待着就是了。
Girl, I know a metaphor when I see one.
That is too much. Is she involved?
No, I don't think she's involved, but I think that she sees herself as like a woman who her time will come maybe, but it's not now, so she just needs to sit back.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly, a maid rushes in with awful news about her father.
Okay. Getting into this, I am a little bit confused onto what's going on, but her father has messed up in some way in the wars or something.
Yeah, it was unclear to me as well. So it seems that there were some supplies that were going to the front lines, but the enemy swooped in and attacked them to take all the supplies. Now the leader of the supplies got scared and just took some money and ran.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Meanwhile, Lingrong's father was
a
also
part of
there.
that. Yeah.
And so they're both been captured by the emperor. They've been taken back to Beijing, and the emperor is fucking furious.
Yes, we don't know that yet though, because we see Lingrong go talk to the girls, and she's freaking out. She keeps trying to kneel, and they're like, "Stand up, calm down. We're gonna figure this out."
And now she says to the girls, "I don't know if my father is gonna die or not. I'm afraid that the emperor is still going to be really mad when he gets to the sentencing part, but I just know that my father is innocent. There's no way that he would just try to take the money and run."
Mm-hmm. And so they're trying to figure it out. She's like, I'll go talk to the emperor. I'll send a letter to my dad.
So Jen tries to make Lingrong feel comfortable by saying, "Don't worry, like, we are gonna help you. It's just that right now it's about the state affairs and politics, and like we're not allowed
to get involved in that."
But then Lingrong is like, "No, Jen, this is not for you. I am speaking to Shen Meizhuang. Your father is the governor of Jizhou where this crime took place. So he will be the investigator. I need you to send him a letter so that he can be nice to my dad when the time comes. And Shen Meizhuang is very flustered. She's like, oh, me? I have to do something? Ooh, let me go check with the emperor first so that I know what to put in my letter. And so she runs off to go and do that.
But she is stopped by Su Peixiang, and he is like, you cannot go in there. He is breaking dishes. What was it?
I'm breaking dishes all night.
I don't know the song.
I'll put it in.
Okay. What album is it on?
It's on Unapologetic.
Okay.
Or
Classic.
Disturbia.
Classic.
It's on the one that has Disturbia. She's
Okay.
like leaning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Su Peixiang reveals, well, the main guy already got his head cut off. So if you go in there, it's definitely just going to make things worse. So you don't want to go in there. You're a woman, and unfortunately, you can't do it. And Shen Meizhuang, to her credit, is really trying to push through and say, it's not about politics. This is about saving an innocent man. And if I can do something, I want to do it.
Su Peixiang is like, if he is innocent, then he will be okay.
Right. And he's reminding her, you have a lot of favor right now. You don't want to endanger yourself and ruin all the favor you've built up by getting involved. Because if Hua Fei finds out that you came to do this, Hua Fei is for sure going to try to make sure that he dies. And Shen immediately, backs away. And she says, don't you dare tell the emperor I even tried to talk to him. I was never here.
I think that is the right thing to do. Later we see An Lingrong is not happy about it, but I think she did the right thing.
I mean, I feel for An Lingrong in this because she's like, I asked you to do one thing. I asked you to send a letter, and then you didn't do that.
We're constantly getting this theme of trying to pick the right thing to do, but both of them are the wrong thing to do.
Well, it's about knowing as a true leader in uncertainty what is the most right thing to do. And I don't think Shen did it.
I think she did.
It'll come back to haunt her later too.
It absolutely will, but I think that if she would have went in there and he's all sorts of heated up and is going in there asking for favors about
but she
things
could
that
still send the letter.
Did she not send the letter?
No, she didn't send the letter because they were worried that if somebody found out that she sent the letter, then Hua Fei would definitely make sure that this man died.
Yeah.
So she was like, I can't look to be doing anything of the sort.
Yeah.
And, An Lingrong is in despair that Shen didn't do anything to help. And so Zhen Huan is like, well, you know what? If we can't be seen doing something, maybe the Empress can.
Yeah.
They're like, let's go visit the Empress, who has already gone to talk to the Emperor.
About the situation, yeah.
Yes.
How does she already know? It's because she's out here scheming.
She's scheming. She wants to look like, she is powerful because she is.
And she wants to get the girls on her side. She needs some little...
But we cut to Hua Fei, who also has heard that the Empress has gone to speak with the Emperor in this matter. Cao Ren is doing her thing. She's just trying to make Hua Fei feel better about the situation. And she's trying to dissuade Hua Fei from getting too angry. She's like, the Empress has already gone. Are you really going to try to counter her right now? But Hua Fei's not having it. Hua Fei is like, tell me, are they close? Do they know each other?
And Cao Ren's like, yeah, they're just like sisters.
And Hua Fei laughs at that. She's like, what? Sisters?
We have no sisters in the harem.
No one can be sisters here. It's only the weak depending on the strong, the stupid taking instructions from the clever.
后宫中哪来的什么情同姐妹？不过是示弱依附恃强，愚笨听从聪明。今日是姐妹，明日是仇敌，面前是笑脸，背后就是刀子。
And yeah, she's like, that was very pointed.
Well, cut to Tao Gui Ren, who's like,
she's like,
well, fuck my drag.
okay.
Like, all right. I guess you're talking about me too. And Hua Fei goes on that, you know, what do they say? This was a great thank you to the Magpie Bridge Brigade. Sisters of today will become tomorrow's nemesis. A smile in the face hides a stab in the back.
Yeah, that is a good one.
And so, to me, though, it seems like, well, if you're going to be this blatantly honest with Tao Gui Ren, like, are you putting her on notice?
Right?
Are you about to, like, fucking stab her in the back?
It's funny because Tao Gui Ren says, I'm stupid, I don't know.
Yeah, Hua Fei, luckily for you, I'm dumb.
The girls are so quick to jump to, sorry, I'm uneducated.
Right.
I don't know about that. I didn't go to school.
And Hua Fei, it just keeps on a roll. And she decides to go into her political theory where she says that if she were to rule the harem, she would do it with an iron fist and iron rules. That way no one would dare to break them.
I said what I said.
The Empress is back, and she informs Jen and Anne that she has tried her best to talk to the Emperor to try to figure out the situation with Anne's father.
Mm-hmm. Because, of course, we all know that women are not allowed to talk about politics. So he dismissed her outright and said, this is not for you. I'm not going to allow your comment, but I'll log it.
Mm-hmm. I'll think about
it. So the Empress says that all they can do now is just wait and see. And Lingrong is overcome with emotion. She starts crying and kneeling, and the Empress is like, no, get up, girl. It's fine. Like, we're going to get through it. But both Anne and Zhenhuan are just very overwhelmed and very grateful by saying, wow, like,
even
you've
if
done
it's
so much.
Even if it's not successful, we're grateful for your kind words.
And then they're like, well, how can we repay you?
The Empress looks over at Jianqiu, and she goes, the harem is turbulent and my health is bad. In fact, I am tired of fighting against the waves. Wang Guiren is perceptive. If you know what is in my heart, naturally, you will be able to share and solve my worries.
And she looks over to Jianqiu, who picks up the incense burner. And I was like, girl, not the coals again.
Yeah, I did not know what was going on here. And the Empress, she points at the burner and she says, the weather is so hot, the ashes in the burner inexplicably are able to reignite again. What should we do?
And then she looks over at Zhenhuan, and here I am sitting watching like,
what the fuck is going on?
I don't know. I'm so confused. Now, luckily, Zhenhuan seems to get the message.
She's giving metaphors over here.
There's some metaphors. And so Zhenhuan goes over and puts her own tea into the incense burner to make it go out. What? So what do you think is going on here?
She's saying like we need to put out the fire.
But who's the fire? What's the
Hua
fire?
Fei is the fire.
Oh. And so in this act, does that mean that now Zhenhuan is like pledging to help put out Hua Fei?
Yeah, I think so.
With the Empress?
I think so.
Girl, so I'm scared. They just had a moment where they almost died. Like, why are they... What? This is crazy to me.
Well, no, that was Shen who almost died.
They were literally poisoning Zhenhuan.
Oh yeah.
Like, I just don't.
That wasn't gonna kill her. It was just gonna make her stupid.
Well, either way, the Empress is pleased by this show, and again, they're doing this double talk. Meanwhile, Anne is still clueless.
I love that. Anne is still clueless.
Bitch, me too.
Yeah, the lack of education is the virtue of a woman.
Now, Zhenhuan says, we have been flying around without a good place to call home. Now we have a big tree to depend on. Meaning the Empress.
Mother, make me Make me a big tall tree.
Totally unique,
So I
completely
can
not ever been done before,
Shed my
unafraid to
leaves
reference
and
or
let it
not
flow
reference.
through me.
Is that Florence?
Yeah.
Oh, I knew it. Okay, great. And the Empress gets a little spicy. She says, actually, in this harem, there's only ever been one tree, bitch.
其实这后宫里头啊，从来就只有一棵树。
That's me. It's only that there are too many flowers, and they may distort people's visions. As long as you're able to tell which is the tree and which are the flowers, then you'll be okay.
Ho
So clearly, if the battle lines in the harem are drawn, now officially Zhenhuan and Lingrong are Team Empress. There's no more sort of both sidesing it any longer. They're officially aligned.
You think they're gonna get Shimei Zhuang to join them?
Well, I don't know, because she's not even here in this place, and later on we'll discover that maybe Shen Mei Zhuang's relationships are not as solid.
Let's take a break.
All right. And we're back, and we're taking a walk in the gardens. And Zhenhuan is there, Jinxi is there, and they're just speculating. I wonder what that cunt Hua Fei is up to today.
Really interesting and very cool.
Then we see Zhenhuan going to visit the Emperor, and he is asleep. And I was getting nervous here because I thought she was going to be Snoopy Doopy over here, Nancy Drewing around with the documents.
Right.
But luckily, she just puts them away.
Right, she's like, I know girls do not read.
And then she starts sniffing the fan. And
She
I'm
says-
like, if this is not me with like...
It's got that... what is that smell?
It's rouge.
It's the... What did we say? It's the Rarity Rouge.
Rarity rouge. If that is not me... Sniffing the fan.
Shit. Okay. Well, I'm glad that I'll be on watch now every time you come over.
Yeah, did you do your laundry today?
And the Emperor does wake up and is like, oh, sorry, I fell asleep reading all these dumb letters. These old farts, these old fogies keep writing shit that I gotta read, just bothering me. And Zhenhuan sort of teases back, saying, well, it couldn't have been that boring because I know a lady was here. Must have been full of beautiful scents and beautiful sceneries.
But she does point out that she knows that it's Hua Fei.
Right. She's like, well, I'm not as good as Hua Fei at making my husband happy. I just know how to make you angry. And then she turns around. And this is getting the Emperor very hard.
Yeah.
He loves this. He is so charmed by how playful that she is being and jealous. Guys love it when you act jealous.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Do they?
Yeah.
I don't.
You don't like it when people get jealous of you?
I don't know.
The Emperor's like, wait a minute, but how do you even know that it was Hua Fei that was here? And what's the evidence?
The Rickety Rouge, what is it?
Rarity Rouge.
Rarity Rouge. It smells of the whatever the name of her palace is.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of her palace?
I don't know. I forgot.
But she says it smells like that palace. And that's where Hua Fei lives. And that's where you get the Rarity Rouge.
Yes. But she lined up the suspects and eliminated them too. She was like, it couldn't have been the Empress, because the Empress famously told us before she hates scents. She only likes the smell of fresh fruit.
Yeah. So it must be.
So it's got to be her. And the Emperor is so pleased at how smart she is, because he's like, wow, you got it. Grand prize. He's like, well, I guess nobody can hide anything from you, Detective Zhenhuan. The Empress was here saying one thing, then Hua Fei was here saying the other thing.
What do you think?
And she says, I don't.
I'm just a concubine. I don't have to.
It's not my place.
It's not my place to say these things. I'm not allowed to get involved in the politics of it all.
But if I were...
But if I could...
And then she goes through all of this historiosity. She says, the emperors of the Song and the Tang dynasty are the role models, and they did this and this and that. They would punish the head, but not the assistant, because it makes you seem like fair and strict, but also like nice and generous. Even though I'm a silly girl, that's just what I would do.
And this goes back to in the last episode, whenever she finishes the dance, and he's like, "What other things are you hiding from me? What other talents?" It's like, bitch, history and politics.
Right.
I've been hiding it.
And he says, each word that you say is claimed not to comment on the court affairs, but in fact, each word does allude to it. And he says, with someone like you by my side, you're the jewel in my crown.
I love that.
And he decides officially that her dad will not die today.
He didn't say he's not going to die. He said that he's going to do the investigation.
Right. Again.
That they're going to reinvestigate.
Right. We're going to reopen the case.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I'm sorry that I overstepped my place. I know the lack of talent in reading is the virtue of a woman. So I hope you can pardon me. But he comes back with a very romantic line.
The harem cannot interfere with politics, but when I am alone with you, I'm your husband. Nothing wrong with a wife talking about history and politics with her husband.
Exactly, bitch. And then she rode him hard until the dawn.
Yes, still wearing her shoes, too.
Yes. Now, the morning after, Jian-Cho rushes over to Anne's residence to let her know the good news by saying, because the Empress has helped you out so much, of course the Emperor is going to hear him out, reinvestigate, and your dad is not going to die on this day. And after really heavily saying that it was the Empress, she says, well, you know, Zhen Huan and Shen Meizhuang also helped too. And Anne Lingrong is like, well, Zhen Huan's tight. She's cool. But I don't know about that Shen girl. And Jian-Cho says, no, but girl, Shen did write the letter. It's just a shame she didn't write it the day that you had asked her to write it. Because then we could have saved you some misery.
But she did write the letter.
She did, eventually, but late. And Anne again repeats this phrase, pushing the boat with the current.
顺水推舟的人情，谁不会做?
Who doesn't know how to do that? Implying that Shen only wrote the letter when it was clear the current was going that way.
As she should.
Yeah. But girl, if you're a fair weather friend like that, I'm not actually going to count on you to help me. That's tea.
Whenever you're fucking around with stuff like this, though, I feel like because it could have came back to her and it could have came back to all the girls and it could have fucked up all the girls.
Yeah, but,
and then her dad's gonna die.
Yeah, but like let's like change the roles here for a second. What if it wasn't Anne's father? What if it was Anne?
Okay.
And then you're gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry. I wish I could help you, but it would be bad for me. I like really want to help you, but I'm also going to Mykonos, and the ticket's non-refundable. So I just...
What is that from?
It's from my imagination, girl.
No, that sounds like some, like, gay movie. Sounds like you got it from a gay movie.
I didn't. Are you accusing me of plagiarism?
No, but it sounds like a line from a gay movie. You should send it into some writer.
Yeah, I'm the writer.
Comment if you know anything that Trenton has written.
I fucking hate you. But anyways, Jian-Cho quickly leaves after accomplishing her purpose of claiming credit for the Empress and sowing some discord.
So Anne is very happy with the hope that her father is going to live, and she wants to send some jewelry home for her mom. Because they're poor, it can help them out. They're stressed out, and so with some gifts and some good jewelry, it will be good for them.
Well, because she's also pretty aware that her family has probably been paying bribes this whole time to get some guanxi and to get like to make sure it's right. So she's probably like, my mom's at home with all the kids and they got no money. So whatever's expensive, send it to them. And then Anne says, half angrily, that after going through this, she's realized who her real friends are. And unfortunately, Shen is not one because she avoids me like the plague.
Yeah.
And her maid Bao Juan is like, well, yeah, I mean, kind of, but Zhenhuan's cool, right? And she says, my heart knows who my true friends are.
That's deep.
Mm-hmm.
Who's newbie?
That's just like how they reference themselves. When you reference a girl before, like above you, you say niang niang.
Yeah.
But then if you are referencing yourself, you say newbie. Yeah. Female pussy.
It's not what it means.
I don't know, but there's new and there's B, newbie.
Newbie.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she actually recommends her by saying like, well, why don't you just try to get more favor? Why don't you get more power?
Yeah, you can do that.
You could just do that.
She's gonna... I don't know. I feel like she fucked herself over whenever she was shaken in that bed.
But the fact that she's still here, episode 14, means that there's something else gonna come for her too.
Yeah, and she did get invited to the Summer Palace.
Mm-hmm. So she's on the ups.
Yeah.
She is like Evie Oddly in All-Star 7.
On the rough start, coming in hot.
Coming in hot.
Gonna fuck around and find out. Probably gonna be lip syncing extravaganza, eleganza, battle for the crown.
Could be.
Next, we are at Zhenhuan's place, and Liu Ju is trying to chase some cicadas away from the courtyard. I'm sad this is the only little scene we got from her.
I know. We've been missing her, and now she's just got this gigantic ass stick trying to like smash the bugs in the tree.
Where are the cicadas at?
Here they're in the trees, but I know back home they're in the ground.
I feel like I have memories of them being more prevalent in years past.
I think because of global warming, maybe.
Huan Bi is walking past, and she's got some lotus flowers to put in the bowl.
She's gonna do a flower arrangement.
Girl, what in the synthetic flowers was she holding? Those props were not good. Those leaves were made of foam.
I thought they looked fine. I couldn't tell.
That was a foam leaf if I've ever seen one.
Will it floated?
Yeah, it's foam.
Okay. Liu Ju tells her, girl, you can't go in there. The Emperor's in there.
And then Huan Bi walks in there, and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were here.
Like, literally, girl, we watched you lie and walk right inside. But she's up to something. And even Zhenhuan knows it because you can see on her face, she's like,
get the fuck out of here.
She's like, what is this little girl doing?
Why are you in here?
It literally reminded me on Twitter recently, there's been a video of the behind the scenes of the Monster video, and where Nicki Minaj is like on the chair and they do a take, and the other girl in it, Black China, like fucks up, and she just looks at her with like disgust. But it's like masked, so it's still smiling, but you can read the eyes.
She's like, excuse me?
She's like, I can't believe this. Because Huan Bi is definitely flirting with the Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
The way that she flicks that water with her slut hand.
And he's like, why are you putting it in the bowl? And she's like, well, I thought it would look pretty. It's going to float. And
I want it to stay juicy.
Yeah.
Just like in nature. Mm-hmm. And so then she runs out. And the Emperor's like, wow. She looks and acts just like you. Isn't that interesting? And Zhenhuan looks after her like, this fucking bitch.
Get the fuck out of here.
End of episode.
You think that Huan Bi will become a concubine?
At this point, yes. I don't know when, but I do think it's coming.
I don't know the official process of how that works, but I feel like she will.
Same.
Or it's going to be some sort of like she's gonna end up pregnant, and we're gonna be like, how'd you?
Who did it?
Who you been fucking?
Do you think she's gonna like dress up as Jen Juan?
No, I don't think there's gonna be all that. They could though.
Just put me in the blanket.
Speaking of Black China and Nicki Minaj,
body double. I do think that there's gonna be some more drama with this baby. Unfortunately, at this point in the pod, I'm hopeful, but I do not believe that Shen Meizhuang will carry this child to term.
I don't think so.
And it really hurts me to say that.
Well, do you even think there is a baby?
Not anymore. I think it's gone.
Yeah.
I do think that we definitely need to see a scene with Hua Fei and the Emperor now that she's been forgiven.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see their interactions.
Yeah.
And
now that he's so madly in love with Jen Juan.
Well, right, exactly. And I want also to see a scene between Jen Juan and Hua Fei.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they haven't really talked face to face other than outside in the streets.
Yeah, that's so awkward.
Yeah, I just want to see them, mask off inside what they think of each other.
Well, because I think if we were in that situation, that Jen Juan would be reading her down, and she would not be smart enough to understand what she's saying.
Oh my god, girl. Where did you get that confident and sexy glow? I've never seen you like this before.
I just left my class at Zero Gravity Pole Dance.
Zero Gravity Pole Dance? Girl, that's just you on a Saturday night.
Now, I know you've seen me at the club, and I'm just showing off what I have learned at Zero Gravity. They offer an inclusive environment, and they also offer a variety of classes for different levels. I started off at the virgin level, and I've worked my way up. And that's what I've been showing off at the club.
I'm gonna get me a man's this way.
I know, but now that we have been locked in the house for a long time, it has become a little bit difficult. But luckily, Zero Gravity offers in-person and online classes.
Amazing! So you're saying that I can become the pole dancing vixen goddess of my dreams right from the comfort of my own home?
Absolutely. Especially with Zero Gravity Pole Dance.
Amazing. And guess what? If you use discount code WHITEGAZE, you can get up to 0% off your first booking.
So that's code WHITEGAZE for 0% off your first booking at Zero Gravity Pole Dance.
I'll see you on the pole.
Now is time for
本周心机争宠装.
This is our weekly segment where we talk about our top looks of the episode. And I have to say, this episode was light on the looks compared to last week. Mm-hmm. Of course, last week was the ball.
Well, yeah, they had the legendary legend ball.
And today it was very domestic, but I've got some tops. Who are yours?
Always the Empress.
She's my top as well.
Yeah.
When she is in that very simple gold, but then she's got the 2 dangles from the hair and the 2 dangles from the earring. Yeah. That's also a little bit purple.
Yeah,
There was some purple in there too. Mm-hmm. I thought she looked fucking fierce.
Yeah, always the Empress. And then the little peacock from Hua Fei.
Oh, girl. I mean, that piece alone puts her also in the top as well. I love that. It looks heavy, I'd say, and a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But what is fashion if not for heavy and uncomfortable?
I also do love, we've seen it before, but the one that Lingrong wears with the big flower on it.
Yes. Well,
the one that Enema said is not like
accurate.
Not accurate because she's got two dangles.
It's not accurate, but it's fierce.
Yeah.
And so, if you had to pick a top, who would be your top?
The Empress.
For sure. This was her episode, both in the drama and in the look. So, congratulations, Empress. Here's your legendary.
Oh my
legend
god!
star.
On YouTube, did it have the Empress on the
I don't know.
the thumbnail?
I don't know.
We'll go back and look.
And that was
本周心机争宠装。
Are we doing whispers today?
We invite all of our listeners to submit whispers in the palace. We know that as Jen Shuejia, you guys have got all the behind the scenes tea. You got all the corrections when we whites fuck it up. So please send us your thoughts on the Anchor app, or you can message us on any of our social media channels.
Okay, so today we're going to play a game that I like to call Who Said That?
Who said that?
So I have a famous poem. The poetry. I'm going to send it to you.
Okay.
I want you to try to read it.
Okay.
Figure out what it says.
Okay.
And
Tell you
share
who
what,
said that.
Tell me who said that.
Okay.
And what poem it comes from.
Okay, great. Wow.
Do you know what it is?
No!
Well,
Oh, see, I'm
Monty,
fully gonna embarrass myself.
Monty
with this.
gave me the translations, and whenever I did the translations on WeChat, it is similar enough to where you could.
Okay,
figure it
so
out.
listeners, some of these characters I know, some of these characters I do not know. So this is a poem, you say?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. 买几把根准备做掉你，就像用筷子盘个圆筋一样轻松。事业正出什么什么，看球做包，我可听不见那些八风流言。
Again, if anybody has any any issues with these translations, you can take it up with Monty.
Okay, so it's like I've bought a couple things to prepare to like discard you. It's like using the plate for the chopsticks to relax. Okay, the second part is really hard. Okay, so something about like being a professional. No, 正事业. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Okay, that first section, no idea. But 看球做包厢我可听不见. So it's like I can not hear or understand those words. Yeah. Final answer.
Do you have any idea? Because actually, whatever you're reading, you would never get it, I don't think.
Well, great. I'm glad that you're giving me an accessible challenge.
Well, I didn't think that it was going to be this hard. Okay, do the little WeChat translate and see what the translation says.
Okay, so
maybe...
if I hit WeChat translate, it says, buying a few guns ready to kill you is as easy as putting a chopstick in a bun. I'm at the top of my game. I can't hear all the gossip.
I will read to you what I sent to Monty for him to...
Oh, Nicki Minaj said this.
Yes.
These are some weird translation of Chun-Li.
Yes.
Okay. It's like, put it in my bun just to pop shit. I'm always in the top shit. Fuck the gossip.
Yeah, that's
How many of the coulda did it with finesse? Okay.
I just did the,
Oh, that's Chang.
I went and copped the chopsticks, put it in my bun just to pop shit. I'm always in the top shit. Box seats, bitch. Fuck the gossip. Is what it was supposed to be.
That is not what it means. Because he said maybe that is. Yeah, I don't know.
He said he got it from the internet.
Okay, well, do I win?
Yeah.
Okay,
You did win.
Who said that?
You did win. And that was, who said that?
Who said that? Well, this was a great episode. I think it was hard to follow episode 13, but 14 had to. So I think it did a good job.
Not only was it hard to follow, it was hard for me to follow it.
Well, I think there's only one thing left for us to say.
Zaijian.
If you like White Gaze, we would love for you to leave a review of our podcast, give us 5 stars, and don't forget to subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen from. You can also support us by signing up to be a subscriber by going to anchor.fm/whitegaze/subscribe.
You can follow us at @reverse_cowboy_ and at Officer Trenty, and our White Gaze account is @White Gaze Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Douyin, TikTok, and the Anchor app.
White Gaze is not endorsed by Beijing TV Art Center. It is intended for entertainment purposes only. Zhen Huanjuan and all names, audio, pictures, and video clips are all registered trademarks and or copyrights of their respected trademark and or copyright holders.
White Gaze is a podcast hosted by Weston Swift and Trenton Schneiders. Produced by Trenton Schneiders and Monty Shaw. Sound and audio by Trenton Schneiders. Media by Monty Shaw. Our theme song is White Gaze by Trenton Schneiders and Weston Swift.